keep going, keep going, keep going. Kind of get the groove on, right? And if you're here for the first time, we are so grateful that you're here and you chose to show up today. So we got a great ride for you planned, and I want to bless Reverend G as she comes to the stage to join me in these songs, because you know her energy is infectious. All right, here we go. One more time.
I'm here, this is when and where. I'm here, no other than in there. I'm here to show up and fill my cup in the flow and the glow of this moment. I'm here.
I hear the music.
The music
Down in my soul,
down in my soul.
I hear the music.
I hear the music
Down in my soul,
down in my soul.
I hear the music.
I hear the music
Down in my soul,
down in my soul. And the whole wide world is my home.
I got a new day.
I got a new day
Down in my soul,
down in my soul.
I got a new day.
I got a new day
Down in my soul,
down in my soul.
I got a new day.
I got a new day
Down in my soul,
down in my soul.
and the
whole wide world is my home.
I hear the silence.
I hear the silence
Down in my soul,
down in my soul.
I hear the silence.
I hear the silence
Down in my soul,
down in my soul.
I hear the silence.
I hear the silence
Down in my soul,
down in my soul. And the whole wide world is my home.
I feel the power.
I feel the power
Down in my soul,
down in my soul.
I feel the power.
I feel the power
Down in my soul,
down in my soul.
I feel the power.
I feel the power
Down in my soul,
down in my soul. And the whole wide world is my home. And the whole wide world is my home. I am as God created me. I am a light in this world. I am as God created me. I am as God created me. I am a light in this world. I am as God created me. I am as God created me. I am a light in this world. I am as God created me. I am as God created me. I am the light in this world. I am as God created me. I am as God created me. I am a light in this world. I am as God created me. I am. Sweet Holy Spirit, here we stand in this wonderful presence. We have come together, some with open hearts, some with broken hearts. And here we are as one, awake and tired, well and ill, hopeful and hopeless. And we've come together to celebrate as one. We're here to find answers to our burning questions. We're here because there is this love that drives us here. And for that, we are grateful. By that we are humbled and present. I am. I am as God created me. I am a light in this world. I am as God created me. I am, I am, I am. I am as God created me. I am a light in this world. I am as God created me. I am, I am, I am. I am.
Good morning. Today's reading is so informative. I'm going to take it a little slow so we understand the lesson. Man's first discovery of his ability to think was taken as a matter of fact. He had always been able to think. It was proof that he existed. It gave him the ability to know his needs and to supply them. It appeared to be an automatic thing. It came with him and would doubtless die when he died. The brain seemed to be the organ of thought, and of course, when death stilled the brain, it would no longer operate. However, a day came when some wise man claimed that it is not the brain that does the thinking, for if the brain could think, it would keep on thinking when removed from the body. Yet without a brain, a man could not think, which proved that something behind the brain used it as an instrument. Man does think, so behind the brain there must be a thinker. But where is the thinker? We do not see him. Have we a right to say there is a thinker when we have never seen him? Yes, for the proof of this reality is the evidence of his thought. Back of the organism is the thinker and the doer, the mind. This was the greatest discovery of all time, for it meant that the body without the thinker could not function. At first, man did not perceive this and thought only of his body as self-operating. But when he discovered this was not the case, he found that he could consciously think and decide, and that something happened to his thoughts after he thought them. They went somewhere and returned to him as a memory. Pondering on this, man came to the conclusion that memory was an active thing, and he reasoned after this fashion. Memory must be the storehouse of all ideas that have passed through my mind. Memory is active, for my thoughts come back to me. My thought is conscious of my body. My body is operating upon my thought, and it must be operated upon by my memory, since memory is active. But since memory is the result of conscious thought, memory of itself is an unconscious operation of what was once a conscious thought. This is one of the most important conclusions which the mind of man has ever made. By changing his thought, he could remold his affairs, and by right thinking, he could bring new condition into his life. Tremendous.
Let me be your peace, that I may comfort. Let me be your faith, that all believe. Let me me be your touch that I may heal. Let me be your breath for all to breathe. Let me be your song and rise tenderly into a lonesome sky. Be your peace that I may comfort. Let me be your faith that all believe. Let me be your voice that I may sing of love. Let me be your touch that I may heal. Let me be your breath for all to breathe. Let me be your sun and rise tenderly into a lonesome sky. Let me be your peace that I may comfort. Let me be your faith that all believe. Let me be your voice that I may sing of love. Let me be your touch that I may heal. Let me be your breath that calms and breathes. Let me be your sun and rise tenderly into a lonesome sky.
Good morning, friends. Angels sing in me. They sing in each of us. Each of us has our unique gifts which you have brought into the world. Some of us have the gift of music. Others have various ways of creativity. And all of us are imbued with love. Let's prepare to go into silence now. Breathing deeply and slowly. Allowing all distractions to pass over us. If you'd like, close your eyes to shut out visual distractions. Begin to move your attention toward your center, towards that special inner sanctum. In this secret place, your awareness of the divine is manifest. You sense your connection with the eternal, that which some of us call God. Indeed, the angels do sing here. Beautiful music of peace, of love, rest for a while in this place. Let us prepare now to gently return our attention here, remembering that we may see the love that we are in the eyes of others. And gradually bring your attention back to the sanctuary. And when you are ready, open your eyes.
Well, I really didn't see the sun. What I saw were all the objects underneath it, all aglow. Even shadows from these objects only added to the show. And the blacks and grays of last night now were multicolored flames. And they didn't look the same. How about I start this over when we're all ready for it, okay? Because that's not pleasant, is it? Sometimes we come to church to comfort the afflicted. And sometimes we come to afflict the comfortable. This is one of those days. I can't hide it, so I'm not going to hide it. We're going to paint it red. Let's get the sound together, and then we're going to start over, okay? Everybody breathe, because we need all of us to pray for this, right? Okay. I saw the sun today, much better. Well, I really didn't see the sun. What I saw were all the objects underneath it, all aglow.
Wow, it may be raining outside, but the sun is shining in here. Good morning, and so good to have you here today. I am so grateful for all of you to come. And I have, is this mic on? Yeah. And I have so much gratitude for all of you who contribute to our Sunday celebration service. And we have Jen Chetta with us today. It's always a special treat. And Jason on percussion, and Chris on guitar, and Suzanne, of course, on piano. And I thank you, Patty, for manning the AV, or womaning the AV. Jerry and Thea for welcoming us. Martin for leading us in meditation, and thank you for doing the special reading, Mary. A Jewish rabbi once said that you Christians always ask the wrong question. What you ask about these stories about the Bible is it true? Did it really happen? Is it a historical fact? And that's the wrong question to ask. The right question to ask is, can I relate it to my life? Can I gain some sort of insight from the story that I can apply to my life? That's what's relevant. The rest is irrelevant. And it's good to know that, because we get lost in trying to find a literal interpretation for these stories. And then we get completely sidetracked. So today we will do a few things. First of all, we will look at the historical background, because it is my belief that if we do not look carefully at both the historical, cultural, political situation of that given time when that story was written, then both literal and metaphysical interpretation can be completely off the wall. So we will look at that. And then, when we're done looking at that, we shall see if we can unfold some sort of meaning for our lives here today, 2013, October 5th, 6th, whatever it is today, 6th, I believe it is. Is there any special meaning that we can gain from it? And then, from there, I will take it one more step, that I shall leave it as a surprise to you for now. So, the historical background. We are talking about Jesus bringing Lazarus back from the dead. He was dead, and Jesus brought him back. The story goes something like this. Jesus is away. Lazarus is the brother of Mary and Martha, which, by the way, there's hardly any proof that Mary and Martha had a brother called Lazarus. We just believe that he was introduced as an important, significant element of the story. Build it so it can reach that climax of teaching moment that was meaningful to those people back then and there. So Lazarus is the brother of Martha and Mary in this story, and he is very, very sick. And Martha and Mary, of course, know Jesus all too well, so they send for him, and they say, please come, you can heal him. We don't want him to die, as usually we don't want our siblings to die, loved ones to die. Please come and heal him. And Jesus is taking his sweet time. He is spending 2 more days wherever he was at, doing his teaching, doing his Jesus stuff. And 2 days later, he goes to the house of Lazarus, Martha, and Mary, and by now, Lazarus had been dead for 4 days. He walks in, and Martha and Mary say, how could you? Where were you? If you would have just gotten here, he'd be alive. What a letdown. What a total letdown. And Jesus says, he doesn't deal with any of those arguments, just says, show me the place where Lazarus is. Well, where is he? He's in the grave. Where else could he be? And it's a cave, and there's a big stone that was rolled in front of this cave. So Jesus says, roll the stone away. And they say, don't do that. He stinketh. Don't do that. This is a mess that's in there. You don't want to roll that stone away. It's been 4 days now. Jesus says, just roll the stone away. So they do. And then Jesus stands in the opening and says, come out, Lazarus, come forth. Come on. Come out, Lazarus. And just imagine the drum rolls. I really should have Jason do some drum rolls here. The drum rolls as people are completely anticipating what is going to happen, and there comes Lazarus. Well, that's not true. It's more like this. Because he's a mummy. That's right. He was bound with these straps of cloth. It's how they prepared back then. That was the proper preparation of the dead. So out comes Lazarus, right? And then Jesus sees that this guy is struggling and says, okay, take those things off of him. Let him, just free him. And then they roll it off of him, and now he can walk. And that's the story. So, it's not a true story. So, it didn't happen. And it wasn't told because it happened so. It was told because it had a special meaning back then and there. Now, as I have many times mentioned it to you, I grew up under communism. And we had poets, we had writers under communism, and we had censorship under communism. And they meant it. When they censored something, they meant it. For instance, they would play Dallas. Do you know that show of Ewing Oil Company? So they would play that there. But in comes censorship. So there goes the episode, and we're watching it, and all of a sudden, for some reason, communists decided Romanian citizens should just not watch this bit. They should not be exposed to this information. So there would be a cut like this. And it would come back, and it wouldn't make any sense. But we'd watch it anyhow because that was our little window to the Western world. So we had poets, we had writers, and they wrote. And they, in their hearts, opposed the regime. But you couldn't come out and say it. That was a death sentence. That would be your disappearance sentence. And then it would be very dangerous to go ask, and where did this poet go? Where did he disappear to? We haven't seen him, It's like he was beamed away. That's how it worked in communism. So they learned to speak in metaphors. One of our greatest poets, poet laureate of the Hungarians, wrote a poem about King Edward of England when there was tension between him and the people of Wales. And so he elaborates on that. And then it got published, right? And we knew what he meant. But if you interpret it literally, this was a poem about King Edward of England that had nothing to do, of course, with communism or Romania of that time. So you had to see it metaphorically to get the meaning. You see what I'm saying? Literal interpretation just let you know why is this Hungarian poet writing about King Edward? It didn't make any sense, but we knew it. We read it, we knew it, and that gave us hope that somebody is speaking out, that there are those who share our feelings, who share our disapproval, and giving it a voice, however way they can, but they do. Same story here. The Romans are really breathing down the neck of the Jewish population. This gospel is written in the year probably 95, 100 to 105, right? So we're talking about 70 years, 65 to 70 years after Jesus was crucified, had died. And they were under Roman control, and they kept wanting to free themselves. They wanted to have their own country. So they kept rebelling. And I have talked to you about that before. That's when the messiahs kept showing up. Different messiahs. And the expectation of the Messiah was that they will come and bring the Jewish nation back to freedom, to the greatness that King Solomon saw in his time. And the Romans finally had absolutely enough of these rebels, of these troublemakers, and in 70, they come and level the country. They level Jerusalem. They leave nothing of the temple but the wall, the Wailing Wall, right? That still stands today. No change has been made to that since then. So in 70, they level the country, and they put out all rebellious activities. So everybody is scared to even be associated with these troublemakers, with the rebels. So also there is this new movement that has sprouted out of this time, and they call them the Christ followers. And they consider Jesus their prophet. They consider Jesus the Messiah, their leader. There is this group, and they still go and worship with the Jews in the synagogue. However, the teachings are clashing. And finally, in 77, the synagogue people, the Jews who go to the synagogue and stand strong for the Torah and that old interpretation, expel those that follow this Christ, that follow this Jesus guy. They expel them from the synagogue. And that's a painful place to be. When your country's been destroyed. Many people have lost family members. Everybody lost friends. They died in fighting the Romans. So the one place that they could still come together, that felt their spiritual home, was the synagogue. And now they're expelled from there too. What's next? So this is the time that the writer is writing the Gospel of John. There's 3 different writers, though, that write this Gospel. So this is the political situation that he speaks into. And why the story of Lazarus? And why are they presenting it so radically? Because remember, in this Gospel, everything is just a little bit more than in the other Gospels. Jesus here doesn't just heal the crippled man. He heals a man who had been crippled for 38 years. He doesn't just heal a blind man. He heals a man who was born blind. And he doesn't just bring somebody back from the dead. He brings somebody back who had been dead for 4 days. There must be no doubt that Lazarus was dead. So the writer of this gospel does away with any doubt. There cannot be doubt that this was the exhibition of great power. Great power over nature, the laws of nature. And in this gospel, the writers are breaking down all sorts of barriers, one after the other. They break down the barrier of tribalism, the barrier of nationalism. They break down the final barrier, that of death. Why this story? And what is this writer trying to convey? There's another story back in the Gospel of Luke. He also speaks of a Lazarus. But this Lazarus is a beggar. And he just begs, and sometimes the rich people will throw him a penny or a bite of food. But everybody would just look down upon him. You know, he was the outcast of society. And then Lazarus dies. He lived a completely miserable life. He had seen very little joy and no ease of living, and he dies. And then the story goes on that he goes to heaven, and there he is on the bosom of Abraham. And if there is a heaven, indeed, and if I shall go there, I could think of better places to be than the bosom of Abraham. So there he is on the bosom of Abraham, and he's just happy there. Finally, things are right for him. And then there is this rich man who abused Lazarus, he dies, and of course he goes to hell. And there he is thirsty, but he can see from hell to heaven. And he sees that Lazarus is over there having fun, and he is down here thirsty and struggling, and just, it's terrible. So he says, Abraham, listen, can you please send Lazarus down to me with a cup of water? He's still treating Lazarus as the servant. Through him he can get stuff. He can use him still. And Abraham said, no can do. That's not going to happen. There is a barrier, there's no trespassing between these two worlds. Okay, then how about you tell Lazarus to go back and tell my relatives that they need to change their way, because if they don't, they'll end up here with me. And this is no good. And Abraham says, no, I'm not going to do that either. Lazarus is fine here with me. If by reading the Torah, by listening to the prophets and learning the prophets, that didn't change their ways, nothing's going to change them. And Lazarus says, no, you don't understand. If somebody would go back from the dead, from the other world, they would listen. And Abraham says, you know what? They wouldn't even listen then. They wouldn't even listen if somebody from the other side would come back and tell them. So this is the story that shows up in the Gospel of John. It's still the same Lazarus. The story is different, but the meaning is the same. Because the writer says that there were a lot of people around the grave, and many of them were Jews. Now, when John, the writer of John, uses the term Jews, he always means the enemies of Jesus. These are the ones who are still in the old way. They are just looking for reasons to persecute the followers of Jesus. There's many Jews there. Lazarus comes out of the grave, and many believe in Jesus. Many turn their way, but many don't. Instead, they rush back to the Pharisees and tell them, look what's happening here again. So even when someone comes back from the dead, some people just don't change. Some people still need to go back to the old way. They still will not let go of the old beliefs. They cannot let go of tribalism, of judgmentalism, and of this sense of separation, that I am different and better than you. Even when somebody comes back from the dead, some will not change. So, this is the historical story. It's not historical, right? But this is the background from which the Gospel of John comes out. And when Lazarus comes out of the grave, he basically breaks down barriers that separate tribes. The sense of tribalism among the Jews was so strong. And this breaks it down, and some people just can't let go of that. And the writer of John speaks of this power that is within you and that is greater than anything outside of you. So this is the one message that he keeps hammering away. And that there's that divine that is I am. In it, Jesus gets to say again, I am the light of this world. And whoever believes in me shall never die. So he comes again and says that I am. The way God presents itself. I am that I am. And that is you, and that is I. So it is this great I am that the writer is speaking into. So this is that context. Now, how can we unfold this and make it a little bit more meaningful to 2013, October 6th, to you and I? And so imagine this whole story, right? I have an issue, and it's terrible. I mean, it's a life and death issue. Have you ever had that before? Never. So there I am with my life and death issue. And it's an emergency on my part, correct? So everybody should treat it darn well as an emergency as well. So when I cry out for help, you better show up exactly the way I want you, help exactly the way I need you to, or else you let me down. Or else, what a disappointment you are. Martha and Mary call out, send for Jesus and say, come, Lazarus is going to die otherwise. This is on you, dude. This is no longer our problem. This is your problem now. And Jesus doesn't come. The response that I'm expecting is just not there. Now, how holy am I now? How does that I am show up when I don't get my way? When it doesn't play out exactly as I had planned it, imagined it, when the phone rings in the middle of a conversation, when everything that can go will go wrong. And there are those days, and sometimes they expand to weeks and months, and then pretty soon you say, oh, that year was a bad year. Then Jesus comes, late, however, because now we're beating a dead horse. It's over. You think that you're doing me a favor coming now? So there goes the blame. I counted on you, and you let me down. Here I am. I have put my faith in you. I believed when you said it so many times that I am the life. Whoever believes in me shall have life as well. I believed it. I sent for you. And now look at me. I became a minister, even though I'm gay. And I became a minister in a very conservative church. And my life started out like this. So I'm realizing that I'm gay. And I know that I'm headed to hell because that's what my conservative religious teachers have told me. And I see that there is not a lot of support for my kind in society, so that I don't come out. Then I think, because I always think, my best thinking, right? And I have this spiritual awakening moment, and I decide to be a minister. And I become a minister, and I'm doing everything right, yes? And somewhere in the back of my mind, I know that if I do it right, one day I will wake up and I won't be gay anymore. And that just never happens. It still hasn't. Then I become a minister. I do everything right. Then I come to the States to do a master's degree. And then a conservative church, hires me to become their minister. And so there I am. I'm their minister. And I hire an attorney, an immigration attorney, to handle my green card application. And he takes my money and never turns in my paperwork. So I become illegal. And I'm thinking, like, really? What's next? That's when I decided that I was done with God and I was done for good. Because first I turn out to be gay, can't change it. And now on top of that, I'm illegal. I mean, is that God out there to get me, or is it out there for me? So I quit going to church altogether. I'm done. I remember driving down the road, and if I would see a church that was being built, I would look there and say, not another F church. That's how strongly I felt about it. I was done. And then, of course, like life took all kinds of twists and turns, and I happened upon Unity. This was probably 5 years later. And then I went into Unity, and I would sit, I told you many times the story. I would sit there like where Marie is sitting. It's a much larger church than this one. And I would be sitting in the very back row at the very edge. And I'd come in last, and I'd leave first. And I didn't talk for an entire year with anybody. I didn't want to do the peace song where we hold hands. I didn't want anybody to say hello. I didn't want to say hello to anybody else. Because I had been bound so tight with my old beliefs that at the very best, this is all I could do. There was a call. There was that still small voice that, have you noticed, never shuts up? And just calls out, and then you respond. And you don't know what to do. So what you got to do is, layer by layer, start somewhere. And start unwinding that bondage that you've been in. And you look at belief after belief, stand after stand that you've taken. Oh, it's so hard to walk back on those. The ego would never, ever let you do that. But I said that I believe this, and today I'm going to come and say, but I'm sorry, I don't anymore. That's a very difficult place to be in. That takes a lot of humility, openness, awareness. So one by one, little by little, at your speed, whatever is yours, start unbinding yourself. And when you come into Unity, you start doing that. And we're all at different places. Some of us still move kind of like this. Some of us can take a bigger step. Some of us can even move our arms. And that's our beautiful oneness. That's how we can be each other's feet and arms and hands and voice. And we can be each other's light and hope. And we all had to start somewhere, sometime. And now the little surprise that I was telling you about. Do you notice how we're always drawn back to these stories like these moths to light? We're drawn back to these Bible stories, and we keep looking at them, and we keep trying to unfold them and make sense of them. And sometimes I think that it takes away from the bang. It takes away from the personal responsibility, for the personal accountability, for we focus still too much out there and not in here. And when you awaken even more, you can look at your own life and learn. And your own story is as powerful as any Lazarus story. And your own light is every bit as bright as any light that you can find in the Bible or any other religious wisdom literature. You're it, kiddo. Trust yourself. Fill those big shoes in. They're yours. And as we do that, we change the world. by changing ourselves, we change the world. You people have sent 5 kids to school for 1 year in Romania. You did that. Applaud yourselves. Five kids. Now, listen to that voice in your mind. Oh, only 5? We could have done 10. We could have done 20. We could have done who knows how many. You did 5. And then those 5, what do you think? How will they grow up? They will say, somebody across the world cared enough to send me to school and cared enough that there's food in my tummy and that I get a good education. And what do you think they will tell their children? So is it still 5? No. You've just affected a huge part of the world. Those kids have parents and uncles and relatives, and they're talking about you. And out there across the ocean, they're sending waves of gratitude to you. You did that. You did that because you started freeing yourself from old beliefs that it is only I and only I matter. From old beliefs that I am too little to do anything significant. From old beliefs that I'm not enough. For old beliefs that I don't have enough. We made a little change here in Douglas. We power washed our building. It looks beautiful. It adds to the beauty of our little community. You did that. And you do so much more. Because of who you are and because the way you are showing up to fill into that greatness that you are. Every single one of you. And I thank you for that. Because it is my privilege to be a little part of this change. But it's definitely my privilege to be the witness of it. And you challenge me to grow. And for that I thank you. Thank you.
It's where I'm at. We're going to get the groove on. Let me ask, is the black mic on? It's not. Okay. And you know what? We're going to go without it. You all look afraid of what's going to happen next. Everybody take a big breath. We're going to let the drummers take it where it's at. Jason, you want to lead us along here? You bet. Let's rock it. Water is nice, cools your brow on a summer day. Water is sweet, out of a canyon it'll show the way. Oh, oh, water is life. The world would wither without oceans blue. Water is spring,
take a drink and be born anew. But what I really want is fire. What I really need is fire. What I really want is fire. What I really need is fire. Wind is a kiss. Flustered faces in the autumn air. Wind is a guide. Out of the stillness, it'll fill your sail. Oh, oh. Wind is a song. A summer storm will whistle all night long. Wind is a cry. A brooding earth making a forest strong. But what I really want is fire. What I really need is fire. What I really want is fire. What I really need is fire. Get it going. What I really want is fire. What I really need is fire. What I really want is fire. What I really need is fire. What I really need is fire. What I really need is fire. What I really want is fire. What I really need is fire. Take it away, band. Let these guys do what they do. We can help out here. The blind can see, the deaf can hear, and we're all gonna be walking. Take it out now. Oh, oh. What I really want is fire. What I really need is fire. Quicken it up. What I really want is fire. What I really need is fire. What I really want is fire. What I really need is fire. Good for you. Oh, it is good for us to be together and to participate in this wonderful, round, whole, beautiful life. And it is our pleasure to be supportive of each other. And this is your turn to bless your spiritual community. So say it with me. I give with love because I love to give. I give with love because I love to give. Thank you. God is my source. God is my power. God gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. God gives me everything I need. gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. God gives me everything I need. God is my love. God is my power. God gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. God gives me everything I need. God is my love. God is my source. God is my power. God is my power. Gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. All my blessings. Gives me everything I need. God gives me everything I need. God gives me everything I need. So I welcome you here again. And if we have visitors, by now you probably know how you feel about this spiritual community and if you would like to return or not. We hope that you do. And we ask you to please hold up your hand. And if you're here for the very first time, and our ushers have a little packet of information that we would like to gift you with. So are there any visitors here today? Yes, so would you please bring a packet of information? Thank you for coming. We love that you chose to share your spiritual energy with us. I also invite you to look at your bulletins and check out the announcements. Please be sure to consult your bulletin. We have exciting things coming up. A good class this Sunday, facilitated by Norman Judy, called Super Brain, that I very warmly recommend. Next week we are starting a class in Loving What Is. It is good for us to be together. It is good for us to share our energy, to share our joy, to share our sorrow, to create a community that is so full of life. So I thank you for being part of that. Please, if you would come forth. God is my source. God is my power. God gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. God gives me everything I need. God is my source. God is my power. God gives me everything I need. And we are truly richly blessed and moved and opened, and most of all, walking away full of hope that we can. And for that together we say, thank you, thank you, thank you. Let us all stand, please. We shall say the prayer for protection, and then we will sing the peace song. Let's hold hands. The light of God surrounds me. The love of God enfolds me. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well.